Michael Jackson lied to you guys. He hid a secret from you that I discovered. Now you see, the secret to Michael Jackson's success was not just his moonwalk. No, listen carefully. It was somebody who gave him his best-selling album. And that person is Quincy Jones. Now all music producers and singers, I need you to listen to this info because you will need it. Quincy Jones is an American producer, composer, arranger. The serious music heads know him and his achievements. Like 28 Grammys, come on. Today I'm going to teach you 5 secrets or lessons that Quincy Jones used and that you can learn from, and I promise you it's going to change your music life for good. Now the problem that I have with a lot of upcoming musicians are, watch the board. This word, fear of change. Now a lot of musicians, even the ones up there, are afraid of this particular word. I don't understand why, but this particular thing keeps you in your comfort zone. Yeah, that's the comfort zone, right? But you see, the thing about Quincy is he was always able to accept change. That's what made him who he is. Arguably, the greatest producer in the world. I don't know, people have their own producers and all those things, but to manage or to produce for one of the greatest musicians in the world, you are probably the greatest producer in the world. And now you see, the reason why he was able to do that is that he was able to study different genres of music. We have different genres of music, and every genre, each genre has a style of play. Now listen very carefully, I'm going to show you something. Quincy Jones played with a jazz legend called Dizzy Gillespie, who made this song. The title of this particular song is Night in Tunisia. Come here, let me tell you something. If you are playing something that you are very comfortable with, you are never going to learn. Now this type of jazz play, if I am to demonstrate it, watch. Okay, so guys, the Night in Tunisia goes a little something like this. Yep, that's Night in Tunisia. That's very I mean, it's been a while since I played it though. Yeah, but I'm gonna show you. The thing about the Night in Tunisia song, right, is that there are a lot of calculations that you have to do. Like, that's the thing about jazz. You have to be calculating a lot. That's the main reason why I like jazz. You see, the thing about me, or the secret about me, is that I started as a jazz pianist. Of course, I started in the church. I started playing, then I entered into jazz straight before I even went into live band. So jazz kind of opens your mind to a point that no music or genre can do. I don't know how to explain it, but you see, we are doing a lot of scales, a lot of change in keys, right? If you learn jazz, you understand what I mean. So you are being a lot more calculative than the other genres, because you have to know the scale you are in, you have to know the key you are in, you have to know how to solo on those keys. So this thing is very, very instrumental, and that's one of the things that helped Quincy, right? And Quincy worked with a man called Dizzy, like we said. And Dizzy was one of the most famous jazz trumpeters in the world. Like, that guy was, the way jazz is losing its value. These people are now coming up, they think they can play jazz. Oscar Peterson, I don't even want to start, man. Chick Corea. Now look at this scenario. Quincy brought his ideas of the jazz ideas, right, all the way to pop, right? Brought it to Michael Jackson, and that's how they came up with Thriller. Guys, the best-selling album of all time. And guys, that technique is what we call genre hopping. You hop from genre to genre, learn the things that you can find from those genres, and inculcate it into your own style. Are you taking notes? So there's this guy called Peter Thiel. I'm going into business a little, so just pay attention, right? Let me spell his name. Thiel, Peter Thiel. He was part of what they call the X-Mafia. The X-Mafia was where Elon Musk was from the people who brought PayPal and all those things, if I remember. But he says something profound in his book, right? I'm going to relate it to music, so just watch carefully. He said competition is for losers. What he meant by that is that, you know, as a businessman or anything that you're doing, you're not trying to compete. You have to find a way. His book is called 0 to 1. And the reason why it's called 0 to 1 is that you have to find a way to go from 0 to 1. And when we say 0 to 1, it means something was off, something was on, something was not there, it's now there. Let there be light. And there, I mean, you are not God, but you understand what I mean? I mean, we are like God, so you are supposed to be innovative. Listen, let me tell you some secret, right? Always aim to create a monopoly. Now, let me explain it. Don't look at me as the bad guy. Always aim to be at a point that no one can emulate you or everyone knows that you came up with it. Let me take a company like Apple. Apple, they are trying to be a monopoly. Do you understand? That's why they created the ecosystem. They have the iMac, iDistant, I don't care at this point. But they are trying to make sure that you don't compete with them. That's what you also have to do as a musician. You might come out and say, oh yeah, you know, I teach everybody, blah, blah. But you should have a secret. You always have to be thinking of, how can I innovate this thing? Okay, we have Afrobeats right now. What can I do to innovate? When I say innovate, Afrobeat, everybody is doing 0. Every single musician is just repeating the same thing. So how can I bring something new? Get the 1. You understand? Listen, that is the only way you would be remembered. You get me? You remember the person who brought about the planes. I'm not sure they are the ones who actually maybe brought about, but you remember them. They did one thing that people don't do a lot of times. They blew their own trumpet. At some point, you don't have to make people forget. So if you are the first person to bring, that's why you see some musicians, I'm the first person to bring that, I'm the first. No, it's repetition. They are trying to make you remember that they are the ones who brought it. They're trying to stand out from the competition. I hope you get what I mean. Let me give you an example. Let's take the song called On a Low by Burna Boy. The Nigerians will come talk, say it's not Burna Boy, it's Burna Boy. I don't know how to include this inside. We can be creative with On a Low, right? You know this singer, Tracy Chapman, right? You got a fast car. You could be experimenting. Yes, that's the phase. You could say, okay, what if I take the Tracy Chapman song and just infuse it in the Burna Boy song, right? That's the first step. You just find what is there and see whether you can experiment with what is already there. Fuse it. As time goes on, you are going to go from your 0 to your 1. Now let me demonstrate. Now let's take down the low song. Let me show you something. 1, 2, 3. Angelina, you the cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver. I go fall in your hand, you never. Da 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 da. You see the way this song is going, right? Now Tracy Chapman has a song called Fast Car. If we infuse, it's going to be something like this. You see? So now sing Angela on it or on the low on this. See? Angelina, hey, you cool my temperature. Hey, you gotta go come deliver. And you fall in your hand. You see? That's the problem I have with the big 3 of Africa. I'm not going to mention names. They are not necessarily innovative. They just find what is innovative and they just popularize it, right? I mean, it's not bad. It's also a good strategy, but I'm talking to the upcoming musicians. At this point, you can't stand out or you can't get into the limelight, except maybe you have, which that one there everybody knows. If you have money, obviously, they can push you up there. But if you want to do this thing without money, then you have to be innovative. You have to be innovative and just protect your production or protect what you brought out. And that is the difficult part because, you know, there will be parasites who come and try and take it from you. But you have to find a way to put yourself out there that you are the first person to bring it out. Do you understand? Yes. But as an upcoming artist or as an upcoming musician, the only way you're going to stand out is if you are innovative. At this point, you're not going to stand out with all this Afrobeat, Amapiano. I feel like the time The time is running up. Let me put it that way. There's always this one thing that I say: discipline in music. Especially for the people who know how to play a musical instrument. They want to put all the things that they know inside the song. No, relax. Listen to Trailer. Copyright. Ooh, oh my God, this song is so beautiful. You see how all the elements are standing out individually. That's the underlining factor. Put the music first. How do I explain this thing? Think of the music as a human being. Now, if you overload the human being with too much food, right? A person can't breathe. That's it. Like gluttony. Now, when you're making music, the most important thing is to allow the music to breathe. That's it. So you have to have an element of focus when you're making the music. An element of focus. What do you want us to listen to right now? Do you want us to listen to the vocals? So you reduce everything and let us listen to the vocals. You want us to listen to an interlude, the guitar playing, then you do just that. So that's the beautiful thing about Quincy. He knows when to make the music breathe and when to make the music full, when to reduce it. Look at this song, Billie Jean. Have you heard it before? Tum 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 tum, bass and drum. Tum 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 tum, nothing. Tum 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 tum. Then another instrument came. Are you seeing? Yeah, that's the thing. That's what is lacking in a lot of upcoming musicians, upcoming producers. It's like, especially those that know how to play the instruments. Like, I know how to play a lot of things. Let me add a lot of things to make that. Discipline. Put the music first. Did you get that? Most of the time, what I tell people or what I teach people is to use this rule. It's called the rule of three. Right? Everybody has an explanation for it, but I can also try and relate it to, putting the music first. When you are making music, just try and keep it to like 3 instruments at a time. If you are starting up and you want to just learn the process. So drum, bass, another instrument, bass, keyboard, another instrument. Like those things, just keep them 3, you understand? And just make one be the element of focus at that point. When the vocals come inside, which one should reduce, which one should increase, you understand? When there's a space, when the singer stops singing and there's a space there, okay, you want to bring the piano inside, all those things, right? All those things count and make you a good musician or a good producer. And I say musician and producer because I want the musician to also think like a producer, because it makes the job easier. If you're a musician and you come and say, okay, remove this, remove that, put that, makes it easier for the producer. Some producers might not want that. They want to always be in control. Like, don't tell me what to do and blah, blah, blah. But it helps. Trust me, it does. So what am I saying? Keep it simple, stupid. One thing you musicians should always do is to collaborate, guys. I can't stress this enough. Quincy Jones worked with Michael Jackson, Ray Charles, Frank Sinatra, Aretha Franklin. So Quincy Jones, knows how to amplify each of their strengths. You see, there's one thing that only experience can teach you very well, and that is human management. Never ever neglect it, because this is going to be a contributing factor to your success. When you collaborate with somebody, sometimes it's not as smooth as you want it to go, but you are able to learn. You're able to see how you can blend together. Now this sparks another form of creativity, because we are in an agree to disagree situation. You get me? It's not that easy, but you gotta try. Experiment fearless. Now this is one thing that every musician should take note of. Now listen, when Quincy Jones was making the BJ song, he brought one guitarist called Eddie Van Halen, if I got the name right. Well, he was a rock guitarist. He made him solo on the Beat It track. So pop mixed with rock. It worked. You see, that was a bold move, but that brought out one of the most iconic solos. That's why I like Fireboy a lot. He tries to experiment a lot. Check this song out. Now this is basically Afro house.
You need some love and attention. I need your love every second. My baby do this, dribble like a coach. I will look come dance for my cosa. available like a baby boo. Now where the booty go, me I want to go.
Now the way we are able to discover new genres is if we are always experimenting, or we can even improve a genre by experimenting. I mean, Amapiano started as just Amapiano. Now they were able to fuse Afrobeat into Amapiano, and now we have whatever we have, right? When we experiment, we go from 0 to 1. Always try to think of creating something that is groundbreaking. Not everyone would, but try. Listen carefully to this one, because this is going to help you in your music life. Now, Quincy Jones right here, this guy, has always been an advocate for musicians understanding the what? The music business. Because there are a lot of musicians who are being fucked, if I should say, right? They sign some contracts that keep them binding and now they can't get out of it. And it's because they didn't understand the music business when they first came inside, right? So now there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot. So all you need to do is just take the time to read, and then you might get a lot of things that you need. You don't necessarily need to go and sign to a label. What I would say is that before you sign to a label, you have to gain one thing. I like to call it authority, this particular thing. Now, authority has a way of leveraging you. Anytime you're going to sign with a record label, if you have your fan base already, you have your everything already. If the record label comes, they are coming to partner. It's like, oh, I'm distributing for you, I'm doing this for you. But if you have nothing and the record label comes, hey, 15 years, pa, I'll give you $1 million. But the $1 million is not for free. You pay us back before you make your money. So like you are stuck. Do you know how much? Oh my God. So you have to create the opportunity. And on the opportunity, there's one way, and one way you can create it without having, there are two ways, right? Your authority, you can create it with money, or you can create it with information. Now this information, one of them that I can give you is the social media. Now this is free, right? That's why I want to give that one to you, free. This particular one, all you need to do is understand how each platform works. That is the problem. Every platform has a different way in which you operate. We have the TikTok, the YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, what again? Twitter, yeah, Snap. I don't know who goes Snap. Okay, Snapchat, I mean, you can share your news there. I mean, if you are big enough, you might type. You enter the music. I mean, so now I'm going to leave you with this. Learn this particular one. And this is going to give you authority that will give you much more leverage in any endeavor that you take. Any endeavor, any business. I hope you've learned something. Yeah. So my friends, these are 5 lessons you can learn from Quincy Jones. I hope you took down notes. May so rest in perfect peace. Until then, guys, be creative.